This is Bishop Samuel Blakes, and you're listening to Real Talk with Mary J.
Happy Merry Monday, everybody. You tuned in to Real Talk with Mary J. Real Talk with Mary J is a social outlet for a positive outcome, and I am so glad that you stopped by to share with us today. Listen, we're celebrating men all month long for the month of June. Every year, Real Talk Mary J dedicates the month of June to men. On today, we're talking about men of honor. Men of honor, yes, there are still some really great men out there, men that would give honor to their homes, to their families, to their children. We have some really great men. And I am so excited to share with you on Juneteenth. So happy Juneteenth, everyone. Happy Juneteenth to you and your family. I hope you're celebrating with family and friends. We have on today my special guest that is sharing with me. He is a certified John Maxwell coach, a professional success and wholeness coach, board certified mental health coach, global peace ambassador, an international best-selling author, and so much more. He has so many titles. I can't wait for you all to meet him and to present to some others. Welcome on the show with me on today, my special guest, Dr. David Banks. Hello, Dr. Banks.
Kingdom greetings, Lady Mary. It is a pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you for coming on just to share with us on Real Talk with Mary J. As I said, the entire month of June has been dedicated to men. Last
Awesome.
week, we talked about strong men need strength, and we're going to talk about men of honor today. So I'm elated to be sharing that big topic with you on today because you're such a man of honor, a man of dignity and integrity. And I just have just so much respect for you and the things that you do in your community with the Noble Success Tribe as well as your family, your beautiful wife and your beautiful children. So thank you for coming on. Before
Wow.
we get into everything, Dr. Banks, will you let all of our listening audience know who you are, where you're from, all of what you do, because you do so much. I couldn't get it all in because you do some things that I have not even yet talked
Well, I am Dr. David
about. So will
Banks.
you let the audience
Yes, I am Dr. David Banks. I am from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I am a pastor overseer of the Empowerment Embassy. It's a global virtual ministry. I have a business called Noble Success Strategic Group, where our focus is really focusing on training and emerging leaders to be purpose driven and relationship conscious. Also, I have a nonprofit called Impacting Nations organization, and the focus there is really impacting through education, economic development, and empowering leaders. But even though I have a lot of titles, my whole focus is truly advancing the kingdom of God through the message of the kingdom and the strategies of the kingdom.
Wow. So I listen, I am so happy that you're on to share with us. Your bio is extensive, as I said. You're doing some great things, and your number one message is to advance the kingdom.
That's right.
So listen, I want the world to know and to see because I have an organization. I'm the founder and CEO of Women of Treasure. And we have so many women all across the globe and, preaching at conferences and meeting women in different places and spaces. And of course, we wanted to honor men on today and to talk about those characteristic traits of those good quality men. Because Dr. Banks, I'm just so tired of hearing there aren't any good men out there. And I'm like, yes, there are.
Yes, yes.
I hear that often, especially because I empower women, and I'm wondering, like, where are they looking? What types of groups and fellowships are they connected to think that they're not any women? And I make them laugh, Dr. Banks, because I tell them, when God said that He'll make a suitable companion, because it was not good for man to be alone. So there is somebody suitable. So they have to be some good men. Because unless you're saying that you're not suitable, right?
That's right. That's right.
Suitable companion for us women. So there are some good men, and I know you to be one of those good men that are out there, that is a family man, that is a man of honor, a man of integrity. And I always say you could be just because you are married and you're in the family, that does not make you a family man. Because we have some men that are in the family that are absent from the family.
That's right.
Emotionally absent, as well as physically absent. So thank you again for coming on, and kudos to you and your beautiful wife and family and your daughter. I just saw she has a celebration. Can you just kind of throw that in there? Let us hear about that.
Yes, our daughter, Lady Maya, she is graduating college in December, and she has been in ballet ever since she was 4. So she has an intern with a professional ballet company, and she is just so excited about that. So we're truly, truly proud of Lady Maya.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let's just dive right into this subject, men of honor, men of honor. We hear it often. There aren't any good men. Good men are hard to find. And I think the opposite of that. I don't think they're hard to find. I always tell ladies, first, we should not be looking. They should be looking for us.
Very
right?
true. Very true.
Us, that's the first thing. And it's what is it, the type of scenery, the type of group, the type of associations that we're connected to, that we will find these quality men. And so can you kind of share with us, as relates to men of honor, what are some of those characteristics, and also some of those good qualities in men?
Excellent, excellent. Well, I always like to go to our Constitution, the Word of God.
Right.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 7 says that God formed man from the dust of the ground. So it's important for people to understand that men are formed. Basically, the word form means to squeeze into form. So basically, a man was created from the outside in. He was formed, and then God breathed into his nostrils. And Lady Mary, I work with a lot of men, and my premise is this: God created men to really be successful and to be powerful in the earth realm. But unfortunately, men have been conditioned to feel like everything has to be a struggle, to feel like they have to survive. And one of the things that I am really doing is really working with men to help them understand their original design. So I want you to really make sure you emphasize the original design. That is my focus.
Yes.
Psalms chapter 8, verse 5 says, I have crowned you with glory and honor. So talking about characteristics, what I like to do first is to help a man understand how he was originally designed, how he was originally created. Always go back. James 1:5 says, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask to God. So my master's thesis was God's design of marriage. So I have spent countless hours, Lady Mary, studying Genesis 1 and 2. So this is what God has revealed to me. Every man is formed with these three major essential ingredients. The first one, every man is created with courage.
That is good.
God placed that in every man. What is courage? Courage is the ability, the authority, and the power to deal with anything. God put that inside of a man. He put that in Adam. So courage is one of the, and it's interesting when I searched and found out courage was the essential thing that God had put in man. I'm really interested to see how Satan has tricked that and how men, so many men, deal with discouragement.
Right. That's good.
You know, so many men are discouraged because they don't know that God has placed courage inside of them. So that's the first characteristic. Men, God created courage in men. The second thing is authority. Now, this is what really concerns me, is because New Age has jumped in and talks about the universe. Well, Mary, we have to understand everything comes from a kingdom perspective.
That's right.
You see, everything comes from a kingdom perspective. Now, this is what people have to understand. Authority is crucial in a kingdom atmosphere. And how is authority established? By words. So you see back in Genesis, when God was helping Adam understand these things, he gave him courage, and then he gave him authority. So he helped Adam understand. Adam, I want to help you use this authority. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring all the animals to you so you can what? Name them. And whatever you name them, that will it be. You see? So men have authority. But again, if man don't understand that authority, he's going to use it in a negative way, and it's going to be abusive and controlling.
Mm-hmm.
The third characteristic of how God originally created a man, the third thing is discernment. Discernment is to be able to first understand what the original looks like. See, when you understand what the original looks like, you see something else. You are easily can discern. I always use the analogy, a teller at a bank. When a teller at a bank is getting trained, they teach them what real money looks like. They let them look at it front and back. They let them understand what the real thing looks like. So when the teller is at their station and someone tries to bring something fake, in the mirror, they're going to realize, hey, I know what the real thing looks like.
Absolutely.
I know what the real thing looks like. So it's important that men need to really understand that's how God originally created men, to have courage, to have authority, and to really understand discernment. But I got to share this testimony with you. I was working with a group of men, and all of these men, they had just recently gotten out of being incarcerated. So these are not choir boys, all right? They were in former gangs. So it was 6 of them. And I was asked to come in and do some life training. And here's the question that I asked them. And Lady Mary, this was so profound. Like I said, these are hardcore criminals just getting out of being incarcerated. And Lady Mary, I asked them one question. I said, if you were a king, how would you conduct yourself? Well, one guy in the back, he was slouched over and he said, Dr. Banks, I haven't thought about that before. And I said, well, just relax and think about it. So they thought about it. And then one guy raised his hand and he said, Dr. Banks, if I was a king, I would treat everybody with the highest respect. Lady Mary, look at this. Yeah. Look at this. And I said, oh, I didn't want to look too surprised, like I didn't know what I was doing. I said, okay, great. And then I said, all right, think some more. And I said, well, what happened? And then one guy just blew me out of the water. He said, well, Dr. Banks, if I was a king, that would mean I have a kingdom. And I would make sure everybody in that kingdom would be treated with respect. Mary, I was blown away. I was blown away because I'm saying y'all are saying things that people in church wouldn't say. And then I asked them one of the hardest. I said, man, since we're going in this vein, I said, man, all of the ladies in your kingdom, how would you treat them? Mary, it was like something went off in them. Every one of them said, oh, Dr. Banks, if I was a king, I would treat every woman like a queen.
Wow.
I said, oh my God. And I said, guys, where did you get this? Where did you get these answers?
Yeah.
And one guy said, Dr. Banks, it's just in us. Now, I said, all right. Now, definitely this wasn't a faith-based, but I said, man, let me show you something. So I grabbed a chair and I put it in front of me, and I had one of the students to come and sit in it. And I said, man, let me help you understand something. Years ago, there was a man, he sat in this, and he was designed to function like a king.
Right.
I was talking about Adam. He was designed to function like a king, but he decided he wanted to do his own thing. So he got out of position. Now I said, by him getting out of the position, basically he went from a king to a slave. And Mary, this was the quickest altar call I ever seen in my life.
Wow.
I said, how many of you? And I said, there is another man that made it possible for you to get back in position. And I just said, how many of you would like to get back in position? Mary, every hand went up. I didn't hear anybody say, well, no, I don't want to be a Christian. I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah.
They said, Dr. Banks, you mean I can get back in position? I said, yes. And I said, and see, sometimes we make so many things religious that doesn't need to be.
That's right.
Instead of saying, well, bow your heads, come up front. I said, let's just talk to the person that enabled you to get back in position.
Good. That's good stuff. Good.
And I said, his name is Jesus. So we just going to let Jesus know, hey, I realize that I'm out of position.
Yeah.
And I realize that you died so that I can get back in position. And I just want to thank you for that. Mary, every one of them said that. And I said, and I did that for 4 years straight with every group.
Yeah.
Every one of them did the same thing. So Mary, there is a king in every man.
That's awesome.
But unfortunately, the enemy knows that. Now, this is what I'm going to say, Mary. And there is a king in every man, and Satan knows that. But sadly, Satan wants to deceive a man to bring the fool out of the man.
Yes.
Instead of bringing the king. So when we talk about men of honor, it's just helping that man know that there is a king inside of him.
Absolutely.
And now, like you said, in relationships, a woman has power, right?
Right.
She has power of influence.
That's right. That's right.
So a woman has power of influence, so she is and can be wise enough to help bring that king out of him. That's what my wife did. I did not know I was a king until God gave that revelation. But my wife, as you said, the helper suitable, and she helps remind me, David, there is a king inside of you. I love it. That's why we've been married for 32 years.
Yes, a suitable companion to help cultivate the king.
That's it.
But I always tell women, when you look for a quality man, also, Dr. Banks, you're looking for a man with a vision, right?
That's right. Very much so.
If you are the help meet, there's something that you have to help with. And if
Have
he doesn't
mercy.
have a vision, the Bible says, that my people will perish, right? That when you don't have a vision, if you don't have a direction to know exactly where you're going, to know, what is in front of you, what goals do you have, what dreams do you have, what can I help you with?
That's
And I
so right.
believe a lot of times that women are not looking for visionaries. They're not looking for
That's right.
dreamers,
That's right.
and that's when they lose sight of that. They lose sight of their purpose, and then they find themselves inadequate, not knowing where they fit. See, your wife knew where she fit because she knew that she was speaking into a visionary dreamer.
Hey,
So
that's it.
yeah,
That's it.
suitable.
I love it. I love it. And just, I had a couple years ago. He was, frustrated. So they came in for marriage counseling, and he kept saying, "This woman won't submit, Dr. Banks. This woman won't submit." And I said, "All right, okay, all right." Now I said, "All right, so I got a piece of paper. You're gonna like this. You're gonna like this." And then I wrote down the word submission. Submission. So I wrote it down and I said, "All right, brother, let's talk about this word." And he's, "Yeah, that's what I want her to do." I said, "Okay."
What's the mission?
And I said, "Okay, let's, all right." And I said, now submission, those are two things.
Mm-hmm.
SUB, sub basically means support,
Mm-hmm.
to stand under.
Right.
I said, "What's the second part?" He said, "Mission."
Right.
And I said, "Now, if you want her to do the sub, how well are you providing a mission?" Lady Mary is quiet. It was quiet. And sadly, Mary, she gave him that evil eye. She looked at him like, "Okay, you see why I'm not submitting? Because you haven't given me anything to support. You ain't giving me nothing to work with."
That's right.
And I tell you, I said, "Brother, this is what you need to understand. The way God created a woman, He created a man to initiate. He created a woman to respond to good initiation." I said, if you haven't given her anything, if you haven't worked with her to create a mission for your marriage,
right,
what does she have to support? You haven't given her, you focusing more on the sub, and you haven't done anything with the mission.
Mm-hmm.
And that really helped him. I said, first of all, submission is not something you make her do.
That's right.
Mission is something you create the atmosphere that she wants to do it. Do you hear that?
Come on, say that one again. Say that
again. See, men, we trying to make our wives submit. No. You don't need to make her submit. You create an atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
See, you create the atmosphere that she wants to help. But just like you beautifully said, sadly, ladies are not looking for visionaries. So it just creates a lot of different things. And then we have men that don't really know who they are. So Mary, it's creating a lot of things when it comes to relationships. It just really hinders.
And it's yeah, when you are a queen, right? And every woman is a queen, just like you said, every man is a king, every woman is a queen.
That's right.
And when you are a queen, there's a certain stance, there's a certain posture.
That's right.
There's a certain grace about yourself. And I tell women all the time, submission is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing, when you're submitting to the person that is on one accord with you, somebody that has the same mindset, the same vision, you're going in the same direction. It's a beautiful thing when you can submit to that.
That's right.
That person. And when you submit with grace. It's not with an attitude. It's not with, with I don't want to, like it's a chore, it's a task, it's hard to do. But when you have a quality man that has a vision, that has a plan, that have some goals and dreams before them, and you're there to help meet the need, you don't mind getting under the and supporting and
That's right.
submitting to that. Not at all. You
That's
matter
exactly
of
right.
fact, it brings honor to you as well as him. You're
Man,
the crown on his head. So, you know, when I think this these days in time when women hear that word submission, they think it's a curse word.
I know it. Hey, that's what my mama and grandmama did.
Yeah,
Yes,
they think it's being a doormat, right?
that's
Like
right.
I'm not gonna be a doormat, and I'm not
Yes,
just gonna just take it and just stay there and lay there and just do, you know, I'm not gonna be barefoot and pregnant and in the kitchen, right?
that's
That
right.
old mentality. So in all of that, it's changing the mind as well. You know, we're talking about the paradigm shift, and it's
Yes,
just shifting your paradigm to do away with all of those old belief systems, to
exactly.
break down and dismantle all of that, you know, thinking. That's exactly what it is. And all those old generational curses that has been passed down and spoken down
So true.
from,
So
from
true.
generation to generation. Yeah. So I
And I,
love the way that you put that so plainly so he can really see that, you know,
that's right.
to
And I
understand
think this
that
is so
you have
beautiful.
a vision.
I think this is so beautiful, especially today, Juneteenth,
Yes.
because when you think about Juneteenth and realizing that we are free, slavery was hard on men and women,
Right.
it was hard
Right.
on women, but I think it really demasculated the man.
Yeah.
I think
Certainly.
that's the whole focus of it, was to really just destroy the image of the man.
Right.
And even though, praise God that they passed the law and we're free, but sadly, Lady Mary, I still think a lot of, especially African American men, I still think their mind, you know
Right.
their mind still needs to be freed up as well.
Right. And I believe it's a part of their connection as well. Iron sharpens iron, right?
That's
And so
right.
when you find men in the same circle feeding off of the same people that was fed off of the person before them, that has really poured that into them, and then they're eating the same stuff, right?
That's right.
And
That's
so when we look at it though, especially when it as it relates to Juneteenth and our black men, you know, from days of old, from ancestors, when we look at that picture, right, where we see that our men had to really stand still and submit to a
that's
slave
right.
master that
Yes,
watched
yes.
them. Then they watched their women get beat and raped, right, and work. And they couldn't really say anything lest they get killed.
That's
So
so
then
true.
when you have that mindset of that mentality from slavery passed down from generation to generation to generation, and now you're seeing that this is a cycle that is repeating itself.
That's
It's
right.
repeating itself. And if that's all you've ever seen, that's all you ever know, what is it there more to do than to do
I
what you
know.
saw? And
Exactly.
so a lot of our men, especially our black men, when they really get outside of that mindset of what they were taught and what was shown to them, and reach out to other men like Dr. Banks, like, you know, Bishop R.C. Blakes, who is my spiritual father, and all of these, you know, these men of honor across the nation. And Dr. Banks, even now, there aren't really many excuses now, especially with social media, especially with all that there is to glean from these days. You know, a long time ago, we didn't have any other outlets. We only had what was in front of us or what was in the
That's
neighborhood. We didn't have all of these outlets, but now we have so many that we can actually see and learn and glean from. So our black men, you know, they've gone through a whole lot. They've
they have.
experienced a whole lot as well. And so when they get out of that environment and out of that same state of mind and that same way of thinking, and position themselves to have someone to pour into them, as you're doing with going into the prisons and talking to these men and letting them know that they are a king and that a king is in them and they were born to be a king from, so that's what you call
That's right.
really, revolutionizing the life of a person, the mindset of that person, that individual that has found themselves stuck and stagnant.
Very
So
much so.
yes. So submission, I love the way you made that so plain to bring that out. Is
Excellent.
there a
Excellent.
mission? Is there really a mission?
That's right.
So let's talk about some of the qualifications. What are some of the qualities that you see in good men that especially, let's just talk about women, that women need to see. You said that they
Okay.
need to see a man that has courage, right?
Yes, that's
A man,
right.
a man that has courage. That a lot of men are discouraged,
That's
um,
right.
but there's courage in every man, and that's something that they need to be looking for as well.
I think one of the biggest for a woman, if she's looking, if a man who really knows who he is,
Right.
he really knows his identity. That is crucial because
Yes.
all of the counseling that I've done, Mary, if a man doesn't know who he is going to put enormous pressure on the woman to tell him who he is. Now, it's gonna play a huge issue as Lady Tracy. Because if a man doesn't know who he is, and he's constantly putting that demand on her, tell me who I am. Well,
Mhm.
she could tell him all day long, you're handsome, you're awesome, you're this. But if he doesn't believe it,
That's right.
he's going to really keep putting that pressure. So one of the characteristics that I say for any woman looking is he knows who he is. He has
Thank you.
confidence. And just like you beautifully said, he has vision, but he knows his purpose.
Yes.
That is crucial. If when I talk to single women, I said, I know you get caught up on how he looks and how he smells and how he talks. I know, but you better be asking some questions. All
That's
right,
right.
you better be asking some questions because one lady, I helped her discover her purpose.
That's good.
I helped a lady discover her purpose, and her purpose, Lady Mary, was to impact children, to succeed in their lives in this. And I said,
Mhm.
now, since you know your purpose, now when you meet a young man, you need to immediately ask him, does either he know his purpose,
Mhm.
or ask him, how does he feel about children? So
That's
she went
good.
on a date, and again, she had to get past how he smells, how he talks, and how he looks. So she just asked him. She said, how do you feel about children? And he said, oh, I hate children. They are
Oh
and
my
and
goodness.
since she knew her purpose, Lady Mary, since she
That
knew
would
her
work.
purpose, she realized, I know you smell good, I know you look good, but see, already know we're not going to be compatible.
That's right. That's right.
We're not going to be compatible. So it's so important for single ladies to really ask questions. To
Right.
ask questions, to ask questions because it grieves me out of the 30 something years I've been in this field is so many ladies that was so successful when they were single.
Mhm.
They were doing well. They were making things happen, but they desperately wanted to be in a relationship. They desperately wanted to be in a relationship. And they end up jumping too fast in the relationship.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. It did not work. So those are some huge qualities that of a good, awesome, godly man is he knows his identity, he has courage, he understands who he is in God's image, and he has vision, and he knows his purpose. He knows his purpose. That is crucial.
That's so good because when a man doesn't know who he is, think
Oh
about
man.
that. When a
Oh,
man doesn't know who he is and he finds a woman that is in tune with her purpose,
oh
that
yeah.
knows exactly who she is, where
He's
she's
gonna get
going.
intimidated. He's gonna get intimidated
Very
by
much
that.
so. Very
That's
much
right.
so. Yeah, and we as women, we need to ask more questions. We need to ask, and a lot of times when we find ourselves going out on a date or courting, being in an intimate setting with a person, and they're asking all the questions, then you're the one that's being interviewed, right? They're getting all the data from you, and then you leave the date and talking about, oh, he's so handsome, and his name is this and this and this. So what does he do? Oh, I'm not exactly sure what he does. He knows what you do. He knows, what your purpose is. He probably even knows where you live. I was talking to somebody the other day, and it's a good friend of mine, and we were just catching up. And and he said, "So what's up, MJ? What are you doing? What's going on?" And I told him some of the things that I was into and what was going on. And then he said, "Okay, so where are you living at now?" And I said, "I live downtown." "Where downtown?" And I said, "Well, I don't think that's something that I want to share with you." Where at? Where at? And we just laughed about it. And he said, "Okay, well, I shouldn't have shared as much as I did with you then, if you can't tell me where you live now." And it's funny, and that's something that you would think is quite simple to say. It's different if you say that you're from Chattanooga, Tennessee. But when I say, "Well, where at in Chattanooga, Tennessee do you live, Dr. Banks?" And then you say, "Oh, I live on the east side." "Where at on the east side?" Then it's like, okay, you're getting a little bit intrusive. Did I invite you to my house, Mary J? So I think women give out way too much information and they don't ask enough
I
questions.
totally agree. And
Right,
and definitely, a woman wants to be pursued.
right.
So sometimes when she feels like, wow, he's asking me so many questions, he's pursuing me. But but like you said, you need to make sure you balance that and get
That's
some
right.
information from him. Because if
Exactly.
you sit in there getting enthralled, man, he asked me so many questions. But like you said, well, where does he live? I have no idea. Well, you need to balance that and make sure you put your questions in there as well. And it's not a lot. And this is what I always tell, because when I was 16, you know,
Mhm.
I became a believer at a young age, and I said, I'm getting ready for, I'm praying for my future mate that's going to happen years. And this is what happened. I was praying, and the Lord said, all right, I want you to write down 4 to 6 characteristics of what you want in a woman.
That's good.
He said 4 to 6. Don't do 10, don't do 12, because see, sometimes ladies, when they have 10, 20, 30, they think, he ain't gonna be able to meet all of them. So they end up
Mhm.
getting desperate and just finding somebody. So you
Right.
don't make your list. So I came up with 4 to 6 things. And then this is just totally revolution, just
Mhm.
wisdom. Then God says, now, since you have these 4 to 6 things of what you want, now what you need to do, you need to develop yourself so that she can be attracted
To
to
those
that.
things.
Oh
That's
man.
right. That's right. That's right.
Because see, so many people out there, men and women, they're doing too much looking and not enough developing.
Oh, that's good. You need
You
to say
see?
that so they can hear you all the way to the back.
See, I think too many singles are spending too much time looking, and
Right.
because see, everything in a relationship is based on attraction, and it's not the physical. Yes, that's a part of it,
Hmm.
but if I want somebody godly, in the word, anointed, well, if I'm not developing myself to be
Right.
godly in the word and anointing, even if I meet her, she gonna pick up, brother. You say job instead of Job. You don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even know the word. So I think it's important, and I think God taught me that. And I'm so glad he did. I wrote those characteristics down, and then I spent most of the time, Lady Mary, developing myself to attract that. I said I wanted a virtuous queen.
That's
Well,
good.
if I want a virtuous queen, then I need to spend time helping and developing to allow this king to come out. Because a queen is only going to be attracted to a king.
The king. That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly right.
Man, it changed my life. It changed my life. And I think we got to spend time developing, because we try to focus on trying to find the right one
Yes.
instead of being the right one.
That's
You
right.
see what I'm saying?
That's right.
Oh, man. That's what Men of Honor is all about. Developing.
That's good. Developing to attract the right one.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Exactly right. So
excellent.
this is good stuff, Dr. Banks. You know, oftentimes women, they look, just as you said, they look for the looks, look for the height. They look for, you know, oh, and then a little bit of height thing. I got a little height phobia myself, though.
Hey, I hear that.
But you know that it also comes from experiences too, you know. So when you go through some past experiences, you know, a lot of times we like to weigh it like, well, you know, because this or that, and so I don't want to deal with that anymore. You know how we do those kind of things, but that is just for fun. I just threw that right in there for free. You know, oftentimes we say those things, right? All the shallow, real cliche stuff, you know. Oh, he has to be a Leo, or you know, foolish things. Oh, he has to be 6'2", you know. And not understanding that you might have a 5'9" that has a vision, that has courage, that is empowered, right? that knows how to treat a lady with dignity and respect, and you know, knows how to just be a man of honor and a man of integrity, you know. So definitely we need to be looking and asking the right questions.
That's right. Now, I got to share this with you. I know we talk about Men of Honor, but we got ladies here that's listening in.
Yeah.
Now, here's another thing, Lady Mary. Men of honor don't need to be worked on.
Oh, come on now.
Men of honor can be portrayed as boring.
Oh, right? Goodness.
And see, if a woman is trying to fix a man, unfortunately, a man of honor is going to be boring. Mm-hmm. He's going to be boring because he don't need to be fixed, and he don't need to be this and that. So a woman has to understand when you're dealing with a man of honor, he don't need all of that. You know, he don't need all of the fixing. And I've had too many ladies, you know, they end up trying to make the man what she wants him to be.
Yeah, I call those Build-A-Bear. I'm not looking for a Build-A-Bear. You got to let them know, ladies, you're not looking for a Build-A-Bear. You know?
Now, you know, here's the sad thing about it. You know, in a dating relationship, if a man, he's not a man of honor, he'll let you build on it, you know? He'll let you build on it.
He definitely will.
Oh, yeah. If you want to buy my clothes, hey, yes, do it. Go right ahead. But unfortunately, it always backfires later on. I've had men that just like, oh, I love her. She picks my wardrobe. She does this. But then after they get married, she tries to do that. You know what he says? You're not my mama.
Yeah, right. That's right.
It just backfires.
It backfires. You're absolutely right about that. Absolutely right.
So men of honor, they not a Build-A-Bear. I like that.
No, And I love the fact that you said that a man of honor does not need any fixing. He already comes prepared. You
Hey,
know,
hey,
when
hey.
we go back into the Word of God, when we see how Adam was already prepared, he already had the courage. He
That's
already
it.
had the authority, right? He already had a vision. He knew what his job was and what his assignment was. He had a job already, and he was able to cultivate the ground and to
That's
make
right.
sure that everything was well kept. And he had a job. And a lot of times now we're finding men that we're trying to give them a plan, give them a vision, give them some money. I saw this movie just the other day. I'm a movie watcher. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I love movies. And it was called Under His Influence. Under His
Ah,
Influence. And it was about a young man that was incarcerated, and this young girl that came from a wealthy family. Then she was a socialite that she always wanted fame, she always wanted followers. So this incarcerated young man began to seek her out on social media and tell her how beautiful she was, and all of these flattery of little nothings that I talk about, little nothings that he was sharing with her. But she was attracted to that, and she felt like she needed an assignment. She needed to do something with her wealth. So he wanted to be released out of prison because he said that he was sent there, and he was not guilty. So that was her assignment. And she started doing all of these things for him, buying him clothes and giving him money and just doing so much, and asking him, where would you like to go? What dream you have? Where would you want to travel? And he told her where he wanted to go, and she did that for him. And so you find yourself as a woman, and we talk about strong women, right? But I tell people all the time, women that are strong, most of them, in most cases, it's because they have no other choice but to be strong,
very
right?
nice, sir.
But if you can reposition yourself, I'd rather be sitting down as a queen on my throne. I don't have to be that strong. I can be powerful in position and poise.
I like that. I like that.
I don't have to be that strong, And so when you have a king, you just rule in the power of what the domination is. You're reigning as a queen. So a lot of strong women, they're strong because they have to be, Dr. Banks. They're
I
strong
hear you.
because they don't have a real strong man that they can depend on, and to get the things done and to do what it is that they need done. So yeah, we got to shift that from being just strong women to being powerful women.
I
Empowered
like that.
women.
And I
Yeah,
love that word poise,
yeah,
because when
yeah,
I always think of, I think of two women in the Bible. I think of Esther.
yes,
She
yes.
used her influence,
That's
because I got to do this real quick because I'm sure we got these women here thinking, all right, you talked about how a man was formed. Well, let me do a 30 seconds.
yes,
Uh, a woman, all right, a woman was fashioned, all
that's
right. A
that's right.
man was formed from the outside in, but a woman was fashioned from the inside out, because she was from a
Mhm.
rib and formed out. Now, here are main characteristics of a woman. First, she was designed with virtue. Virtue is a wealth of resources. Every
Yeah.
woman has virtue inside of her. The next one is influence. And the third is beauty. Every woman, and see, every man of honor, going back to men of honor, that's what they are looking for.
That's
They
good.
are looking for a woman that has virtue, full of resources, looking for a woman that has influence. And every man of honor knows that every woman is beautiful from the inside out. And I love that because Lady Esther,
Yeah,
she stood before the king. She didn't
that's
have to
right.
say anything, but she
That's
didn't come
right.
in yelling, I want this. Her silence and
Yeah.
her poise, But then you think of Jezebel. Look at
Mhm.
her. She was a strong woman, but look what
Right.
she did. You see? So I like that, helping a woman, because I think so many times synonymous we think, Well, Lady Mary, if you don't want a man, if you don't want a woman strong, then are you insinuating you want her weak? Well, it's not that. It's not strong or weak. But I
Right.
love what you said, poise.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
beautiful. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. Because a lot of times sometimes women take upon that characteristic of being strong and becomes overbearingly strong. So strong that you don't need a man for anything. You don't need a man to do anything. You don't want a man to pick up and I got it, I got it, I can get it. Definitely pick that up, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And so that's what I'm talking about. And so being so strong that you're not even tender anymore, you become
Oh,
hard.
nice, nice,
No, you're
nice.
not even tender anymore. You're not even soft anymore. You become so hard and dominating and controlling because you had to do it so long for yourself by yourself. So that's not the kind of strong that we're speaking of,
Hey,
you
very
know.
much so. Very
So
much so.
but
Very
I
much
just
so.
love the fact, and I hope those that come in and those who will watch the replay hear that again, that a man of honor is a man that does not need fixing, ladies. That's good news. He doesn't need fixing. He's already together. You
Hey,
don't have
that's
to be
right.
over there. You don't have to give him all of the go-tos and the know-hows and what to do. Matter
That's
of fact,
right.
he has a vision, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he does. Yes, he does.
Definitely, definitely. This is so good, Dr. Banks. This is really good. And so when we have men of honor, we already know that they're men of courage, they're men of integrity,
That's
they're
right.
men of the vision. Ladies, for those who need to write and jot those things down. And what I love so much, what you said that you wanted a virtuous queen.
That's right.
God told you to write down those 5 or 6 things, right?
That's
So
right.
you're a virtuous queen. And how do you become that which you want? How do
Hey,
you attract that which you want?
that's right. That's right.
That's
That's
good.
how it works. That's how it works.
Really,
And
really.
mind you, it took a lot of time to develop that. It took maturity. It
Yeah.
took stand before God. It took somebody speaking into my life and telling me, hey, this negativity you're dealing with, that's not going to get this virtuous queen you want. She's
Right.
not going to be about this negativity. So I think it's so important that we focus on developing what we want.
Developing what we want. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And not just going out there posing for it, right?
That's right. Oh yes, oh yes. Because even you think you can play around with it and think, well, maybe I can dress up and kind of fake it. But my grandmother said this, and I love what my grandmother said. She said, everybody is like a tea bag. You'll know what's inside of them when they get in a hot situation.
That's good. That steaming, right?
That's right.
Yes,
That
yes.
hot situation is going to really bring out what's really in there.
Right, right. And this is something that I believe that women, when we find men of honor, to be, as Dr. Banks, as you were stating, that you got to get beyond the looks, but I know that's the first physical
Of, of
attraction,
course,
right?
of course,
Um,
yes.
of course, he will have to be appealing to the eye, because I know that men are very visual creatures, and so I understand that, ladies, but that's not the only thing. And that's what I want to say that, right?
That's right.
But there was a time that I had lunch with the guy. Well, breakfast. I think it was breakfast. He asked me to meet him for breakfast one morning, and I was busy doing some other things. And I said, okay, well, I'll see. Maybe I can get a rain check on that. And so he pushed the time back, and he kept pushing the time back for me to be there. So I finally said, okay, I'll be there. I'll be headed there after I finish up with my meeting and I have some errands to run. I'll make it there. So Dr. Banks, he called me to ask me what I wanted to order, right? And I told him what to order for me. And when I got there, he had finished his breakfast. By the time I got there, he had finished his breakfast. And I just saw all over his face like he was furious. he didn't he didn't say anything, but he all over his face, it was like he was just annoyed.
Why was he
And I
annoyed?
said, because I was late getting there.
I see.
I was late getting there, and he really ended up eating his breakfast by himself by the time I came, right? And so I was making really light of it. I was like, "How are you? You know, good to see you. Sorry I'm late." But mind you, it was like a on the spot thing. It wasn't a planned thing. This wasn't an advanced thing. It was on the spot. Can you meet me for breakfast? And I was busy, so I tried to get there when I finished up what I was doing. And so when I sat there and I ate my breakfast, and the lady said, "Would you like me to go and heat that up for you?" And it was still warm. I said, "No, it's fine." And I'm eating, and he was sitting there, and I felt his energy, right? I felt his energy, even though he didn't complain. He was not rude or ugly, but this aura, his energy just was giving me a different type of vibe. And then I
Wow.
looked at him and I said to him, and it shocked him. I said, "You can always tell the quality of a man by his countenance." And he looked and he tried to change his face because he didn't really think that I saw, the energy that he was dishing out. But he was a little perturbed because I was not there on time. He was a little perturbed that he had to eat his breakfast and I didn't arrive until later. But I said, you can always tell the countenance of a man by his temperature and his countenance. So that let me know that where is he on the level when yeah, I'm thinking about the tea bag that you just referred to.
That's
And that steam was coming out of his ears. And but so I had to think about that. I had to think about that. What will his temperament really be like? If you're upset over breakfast and you just called me to meet you and I got here as quick as I can, how much more would you be upset, you know, if it was something that was much bigger than that?
so
And so
true, honey.
a lot
So
of
true.
times we have to pay attention to the person's their energy for one. As a man of honor, what kind of energy are they're
That's
giving
so
you,
true. So
you
true.
know?
So true.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important for ladies when they see a flag, Lady Mary, pay attention to it. Don't disregard
That's
it.
right.
When they
That's right.
see it for what it is instead of thinking, yeah, see it.
Overthinking and trying to ignore it,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Yeah. So this has been just such an intriguing conversation with you, Dr. Banks. Men of honor. We're talking about men of honor, ladies, men of quality, men of character, men of dignity, men that have a vision, men that have courage. Dr. Banks has shared all of it as it relates to men of honor. So there are some good quality men out there. There are some men that are respectful and men that would treat you like the queen you are, but it's the
Hey,
energy and it's what you give out,
that's right.
right?
Hey, so right. So right.
Yes. So, Dr. Banks, will you let our listening audience know where they can find you, follow you on social media, all of the platforms you have? Let them know how they can stay connected with you as well.
Excellent. Well, first of all, Lady Mary, thank you so much again for this opportunity. It's always a pleasure spending time with you. But I have a website, www.davidbanksphd.com. Also, a part of my nonprofit is impactingnations.org. I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook group called Dr. David Banks Noble Tribe, and you can also find it at Dr. David Banks. So, any way that I can help anyone, feel free to contact me in any of those. Definitely the website, www.davidbanksphd.com.
Thank you so much. So I want all of our listening audience and those that would come in and watch the replay to go follow Dr. Banks. You can follow him at Dr. David Banks on Facebook, and especially connect with the Noble Tribe. You want to be a part of that. Connect with the Noble Tribe. I had an opportunity to share on your platform,
Hey,
and
that's
it was
right.
a blessing. It was truly a blessing to be there and to be connected and share with so many across the world. So thank you once again for coming on, sharing your words of wisdom with us. All of this good nuggets that we received on today as relates to men of honor, ladies. So there are some men of honor. There are great men out there. We just have to remain focused and know what we're looking for. What are you looking for in a man? What is it that you're trying to find? There are some really great men. I had to bring you on, Dr. Banks, because as I said, I get so tired of hearing that there aren't any good men, Mary J. There's not any good men. There are good men, but we just have to know what is it that we're looking for,
Hey,
right?
very nice.
What is
Very
it
much so.
that you're looking for in a man when you say there aren't any good men? So thank you for coming on, and Tiffany says thank you. So thank you once again, Dr. Banks, for sharing with us. You all go follow him. Dr. Banks, did you have a happy Merry Monday?
Yes, I did. Yes, the day went well. I love Mondays. It was wonderful. I
No
always
Blue
love
Monday.
it. No, no Blue Monday. Oh, absolutely not. Marvelous Monday. Marvelous Monday.
Marvelous Mondays. That's right. Marvelous Mondays. Happy Merry Monday, everybody.